purpose of this video is to overview the STEM instructor resources. We're going to start by looking at the menu. We'll see a list of candidate-facing resources, STEM by week, information and resources, a calendar, a place where they can check their grade, Blackboard synchronous meeting links, which is where instructors or candidates would be able to access class each week. And down here below the line, we'll see instructor resources. We'll notice that there is an X here over the square box, and that lets us know that these resources are really only resources that instructors can access. So we're going to start by taking a look at the STEM by week candidate-facing resources. Here we'll have a list of classes and assignments. You'll notice that the synchronous sessions are all printed in black here. Anything that's an asynchronous assignment is in blue, and class assignments are in red. So we're going to start by taking a look at a synchronous session. Synchronous sessions are about 50% of course 1, a little less than 50% in course 2, but these are 3-hour meetings. We meet between 5:30 and 8:30. There is an overarching topic. It's generally a real-world phenomena anchoring event or local or global phenomena. The topic for session 1 and 2 is water scarcity. We'll see that candidates will be engaged in a series of tasks. All of the candidate-facing resources that they would access in class are here. Our different technology interactives, some videos and things that we watch, a water scarcity map that's interactive that we could take a look at the issue of global water scarcity. So these are the resources that candidates would use during class. If we want to go back to our STEM by week resources, we'll notice that there's a little toolbar here at the top. We could click on week 1 synchronous, and that would take us back to the page that we're on. We'll see that there is a STEM journal entry. The typical structure of class, starting at 5:30, we generally take the first 20 to 30 minutes. We go through announcements. We talk about upcoming assignments. We review any asynchronous assignments that candidates have completed. And then we'll move into a group task, which is related to a bigger, broader topic like water scarcity. We'll do a series of activities. We try to be as interdisciplinary as possible. One of the things that we focus on is the vertical alignment of the standards. This particular topic really addresses 4th grade water standards, 6th grade water standards. We also do a vertical alignment of the math standards. We talk about fractions and representation in 4th grade. And in 6th grade, we talk about ratios and proportion. So we can use this task to really address those vertically aligned standards. We also add a technology application, which is an interactive water scarcity map. And we try to bring in opportunities for social studies, like talking about economics and the effects of populations on the resources in an area. And ELA, different ways that we might be able to use this to construct an argument. So these sessions, which last for about 3 hours, do include that group task where candidates are working together to solve a problem or to address one of our PSC standards. So those are the candidate-facing synchronous resources. I can click back on STEM by week. You'll see that the first 2 weeks are synchronous, and this is followed by an asynchronous session. So we'll take a look and see what this looks like. With asynchronous, candidates are typically going to be engaged in a series of activities over a broader STEM topic. And in the first week, they're really focusing on engaging students in local and global phenomena. And you can see that the full assignment should take 3 to 3.5 hours. That includes about 2 hours to review some of the videos and resources that are here. You'll see they'll watch a few videos. They'll look at some phenomena bank and other resources to find ideas for local and global phenomena. You'll see here, they'll look at engineering grand challenges. They'll look at UN sustainability goals. They also look at the math resources for the DOE because of the interdisciplinary nature of those. There's a lot of great STEM ideas. So candidates would spend some time reviewing these resources. And we also want them to start looking at upcoming assignments. So they'll spend part of their time looking at the engineering design assignment, which is listed there and also in STEM by week. They'll also take a look at the requirements for the professional resource collection and the technology integration. And you'll see that there's some type of reflection question or discussion or task that they do based on that work. So going back out, we'll see here is the actual assignment that they'll turn in. Let me show you this in student preview. I'm going to go back to that asynchronous assignment so that you can see the reflection. If they click on it, there is the question for the week where they're thinking about what they have learned and read about. They're also able to view a rubric so they can see how the assignment will be graded. And they're able to go here and create their submission. We encourage them to keep a running list of their reflections on a Google Doc or a Word doc, and they're able to copy and paste it here into the submission area. They also could upload that as a file. So those are some things that we would take a look at. So we'll leave here. Go back to STEM by week. So really we can see the different topics. Like we have a topic, another asynchronous week is engineering, where they dig into some engineering resources. There's a technology week. So we're really looking at the standards. For the first few weeks in the course, we alternate usually 2 synchronous to every 1 asynchronous, but then that starts to flip as we go through the course. We actually will start alternating and meeting twice asynchronously. So we kind of tend to increase the number of asynchronous weeks as we move through the program. But you can see for our synchronous topics, we look for real world issues such as wheelchair ramps, plate tectonics. There's a week where we look at tracking sharks and some publicly available data that's available out there. But we are really working on focusing on different elements of STEMs. Let me exit my preview. As an instructor, you can always change to student preview mode if you ever want to see what the assignment looks like from a student perspective. So that's STEM by week. So now let's go down into the instructor resources, which are only available for instructors. Now we're going to look at the instructor resources for that water scarcity week that we looked at. What you'll see in the instructor facing resources is that there's always a link to a class agenda and lesson plan. There is a presentation that's generally a PowerPoint that you can download and make some changes and then upload that to your student site. There's a recording from a previous session, so you can kind of see the pace and the topics and some of the things that were completed in a previous endorsement session. And then sometimes you might find another supporting resource, like in the case of the first week, we have a norm setting activity that we do. So let's take a look at the class lesson plan. So you'll see this. You'll see some of the logistical types of things. So there's like a getting to know you task. When you click on these Google Docs, which generally are our tasks and things like that, it asks you to make your own copy. So you're able to make a copy that you're able to share with your candidates. You can save this on your computer, and it's really nice because you're able to share it with your students. I typically will change the access to anyone with a link, and I change viewer to editor because this is a task that students need access to so that they can complete these slides. So I can make my own, or I can copy that link, and now I'm able to take that link and add it to my STEM by week resources for students. So that is one of the things that we typically do. I'm going to go back to that class agenda. So we're currently using Jamboard, which is our kind of our whiteboard. It's just an interactive whiteboard. We're considering changing to FigJam because Jamboards are going to end in October. We also have, looked at Canva and some other things like that. So, but this will give you a list of the major resources that you're going to use. You'd create your own Jamboard using a forced copy like we did before. There is a down here. Nope, that is the group task. Actually, the create your own slide and the norm setting. But all of those lists, all those things in the list are things that you would use in class. And then we try to give you some kind of detailed directions, especially for the first couple of classes. It'll give you a few timestamps about when you would complete, different parts of the task. Kind of like there's a sorting task that we do where we sort the practices of math and science and technology and engineering. We look at the overlaps of STEM. So this will just give you some different resources and things that you could use. A lot of these things we saw already on the student-facing resources. So students are able to access those pretty easily during class. But you do need to make a copy of your own PowerPoint, and you need to add for students any Jamboards that you create or presentations that they need access to. So those are just some different resources and things that you'll see there under assignments. The first 2 weeks are on water scarcity. We do spend a couple of weeks because there's a lot of getting to know you kinds of things that are going on. But you can see that each of these different weeks has a big idea and topic. It's also linked to one of our PSC standards. If we go up here to Instructor Handbook and Resources, we're able to see some of these different documents, things like the PSC rules. This is just the list of rules that were used to develop the STEM endorsement. And a lot of times you'll see these different standards and elements linked to assignments and tasks that students are working on. They are very inclusive of all disciplines. They do focus on STEM and interdisciplinary STEM, but we do see that there's some great opportunities to bring in other content area, non-STEM content areas. And we try to do that as much as we possibly can. There is also a STEM matrix here, which is a great document. We're going to continue this looking at the STEM matrix in the next video.